That was one of the things that, as I grew in my knowledge in this, we went to a consultation with Clear Choice, and they were talking about how they did every year. They'll take the prosthesis out and clean it, and how expensive it really was. And in my learning process, you don't want to keep taking it in and out, because the screw integrity and everything, the integrity, you don't want to do that more than you have to. Is that a good way to put it?
Okay, that will depend on two things. One, if you're working tissue level, or if you're working implant level. If you're working tissue level, you can remove the prosthesis as many times as you want. But if you're working implant level, every time you remove the prosthesis, you're going to detach that tissue sealing around the implant, maintaining this sealing to keep it healthy, biologically speaking, okay? So we don't remove implants and parts and crowns every year, okay? We try to keep it that way because you need to maintain that tissue that is attached to your prosthetic part. If you're working tissue level, that means that you have an abutment, like in your case, you see? You have these abutments that we call multi-unit abutments. You can physically remove the prosthesis as many times as you want, that you're not going to jeopardize anything. But you need to change the screws every time you do it. Okay? The screws connecting the prosthesis with the abutments. So that is...
So you're saying there's two ways to remove... So walk me through this. This is the first time I've ever had this conversation. So you can remove the arch, the prosthesis, on a tissue level, not an implant level. So it comes out and nothing is affected on the tissue side of things.
Exactly, on the tissue surrounding the implant, yeah.
But then there's another way to do it where you actually have to remove the soft tissue around.
No, not remove the soft tissue. Is that when you remove the prosthesis, the start point of the prosthesis is going to be the implant level, that is at the bone level. So you have this tissue part that you detach from the prosthetic part, okay? So we don't have a sample here, but let me see. The implant is bone level. On top of that, you have soft tissue, okay? So in your case, you have abutments. Imagine these are the abutments. These are removed. This is for removed prosthetic. So these are what we call locator attachments, okay? But imagine these are the multi-unit attachments that you have. So you have like an inner thread here where you're going to screw retain the prosthesis. If you remove this part several times, you need to the soft tissue surrounding that part is attached and is sealing against bacteria going through the tissue to the implant and all that, okay? So imagine these are your multi-unit abutments. Every time we remove your prosthesis and all that, who cares? You're not removing the sealing around the implant.
Okay, hold on, let's see. It's funny, I was just doing this. Okay, so now...
Okay, you have here.
Right? This is a good way. This is your multi-unit abutment, right?
No, this is not a multi-unit. This is a simple screw retain abutment,
okay.
But imagine this is the implant. The implant is bone level, okay? On top of that, imagine you are placing the implant, so you have a flap. So imagine you place this one. Imagine this is the multi-unit abutment. You place it there, and you close the soft tissue. The soft tissue is going to heal around this section, okay?
Okay.
So now the tissue is going to be there, okay? Not here. The implants are not exposed to the oral cavity. The abutment is exposed to the oral cavity, okay? So if you have now the prosthetic on top of this multi-unit abutment, you remove the prosthetic, but you're not breaking that sealing,
Because you've not gotten into it's sealed around with the tissue in this case, and you can take it on and off because you're not touching with it. Okay.
Yeah. But imagine that the prosthesis is going straight to the implant platform, okay? So once it's healed, the implant is there, you see? You have like 3 millimeters of tissue, okay? So the implant is there. So every time you remove, imagine that everything is connected, like the multi-unit and the prosthesis is one piece. So you understand it that way. So every time you put this and remove this, you break this attachment. So this is going to heal like that, and then there's no sealing. It's not sealed around the implant. So you have this connection between the oral cavity and bacteria going inside of the bone and the implant, and then you start having bone loss, bone of the marginal bone. Yeah.